Hi everyone, how are you? It's Annie from Beacon Empowerment Strategies, and I'm coming on today because I want to talk about escapism. And I think I'm going to create a series of videos. This is what I'm thinking. And I think I want the theme of the videos to be what we need to leave behind in 2019 in order for 2020 to be a world that works better for everyone, that centers those who are most vulnerable, that empowers all of us to take action on our purpose, on our dreams, on our passions, and what cultivates love and connection and a sense of belonging and well-being than anything other than that. Because I have thoughts about what we have to stop doing in order to create this world, right? And to have that conversation, we have to accept some underlying beliefs. And the first thing that we have to accept is that creating a better world that works for everyone is possible. There are ways, if COVID has shown us anything, at the drop of a hat, we can change life as we know it and pivot to something else that facilitates some sense of success for a group of people, okay? This idea of rules and things taking forever to catalyze change is not true. So we have to accept that we can create a world that is better for everybody. The second belief that we have to adopt and believe in is that that creation of that world falls on our individual shoulders. We have to accept the fact that who we are being in every single interaction in our life, whether it is with our partner or our children, the strangers that we encounter out in the world, our family, our friends, the male person, it doesn't matter, right? It's these individual interactions, the day-to-day shit, where the magic lies and the power is, okay? So the one thing that I think it needs to be talked about, and in a profound way, and maybe you do too, and this stems from the holidays, is this idea of escapism and using things to escape reality. Now, reality is a fucking lot right now. I'm not denying that, right? I accept and I agree. And I too need to escape reality sometimes because it's just too much. It's too much sometimes. I'm with you, okay? And there are ways that we can do that escaping, right? That reconnecting to something other than the stress of now in a way that empowers us, that sets an example for our children and our friends about what's possible, that creates greater connection, that fosters our own sense of well-being and belonging in the world. And there are ways that we can escape. The list could go on, right? And there are ways that we can escape that do the opposite, that create disharmony, that create dysfunction, that create disconnection, that are disempowering, that harm us and harm others, that teach the children a way to be or a way to cope with stress that is not going to serve them long term, right? So, and then there's also just the conversation about what is healthy and what is balanced. And the truth of that is that's different for every person. But deep down, you know where you are using things to escape, whether it is alcohol or drugs or relationships, sex, let's say, or technology or social media or shopping or what else? You know the ways that you could be escaping. There's other ways. There's getting out in nature. There's reading. There's baking. There's cooking. There's playing games, putting together puzzles. There's volunteering. There's creating things like book clubs. There's all kinds of ways, right, that we can escape. And we do a variety of all of these. It's not that all of the ways that we escape are bad or all of them are good. It's that we use tools to escape, which is healthy, right? And especially if it stimulates our imagination, we use these things to help us get by. So the question that is at the heart of this is, are the ways that you're escaping in alignment with who you really know yourself to be? Are you escaping in a way that sets an example for those around you that says, I care about myself, I care about you, I care about our world, and so I'm going to choose to escape from reality in ways that center love, that inspire people to be better, to do better, to care more, right? Only you know that. But going into 2020, we can't continue, to escape reality to such a degree that we become disconnected from the real shit that's happening. Because there's real shit that's happening. There are real lives being impacted. There's a lot of struggle. There's a lot of hardship. There's a lot of sadness. There's a lot of really, really dysfunctional, disempowering, inequitable shit that's happening in our world. And we can't escape to such a degree that we become disconnected from these things, right? We have to remember that we can change. We can impact. We can change one life, and that matters, right? So fundamentally, we can't continue to escape in a way that breeds disconnection, that isolates us as individuals, separate from everybody else, with this delusion that we're not all in this together, okay? So the degree to which we escape, that needs some evaluation, and to do any of this work, and this is the work, it requires a level of self-honesty. You have to be honest with yourself. You know the truth. You know it. You just have to admit it. You have to accept it. How do we get better at that? Realizing that everybody is in process. Everybody is doing this. Everybody in their life in some way is out of alignment, if you will. Everybody. So it's not like you're behind or you're broken or you're separate. We're all in this. So get comfortable with the imperfection and instead see the imperfection as an opportunity to grow. We're here to grow. And when we sense and see and know the things that are impeding, that are stopping, that are limiting our growth, or that are growing us in a way that isn't for our highest good or for the good of everybody else around us, right? We got to pause and we got to be honest. And we know. So just admit it, okay? It requires self-honesty. That's what we just said. And it also requires a willingness to do something different. So it requires an action that is in alignment with the truth that you know. Okay? So we have to have those two things in order to look at the ways that we are escaping and the ways that our escaping is harming. So we can't, why do we have to look at this? Because we look at our world. We just said this, right? I just said this. We can't keep our head underneath. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to wait for, like the murder of George Floyd in order for us to wake up and be like, damn, we got some problems. The problems have been there. People have been saying that the problems exist and we just haven't listened. Okay. So it's time that we listen. It's time that we actually start to listen to one another so that we can make change. We can't listen to each other if we're escaping and we're avoiding hard conversation, right? So escapism, it's perpetuating the problems that exist. And it's on a collective level, which is what I'm talking about now, but it's also on a very micro level within your own life, right? The things that need to be tended to in your relationships with your children, with your spouse, with yourself, they have to be brought to the light. We can't go into 2020 escaping from what we know needs to be looked at, what we know needs to be changed. And the beautiful thing is that it doesn't have to all be changed at once, and it doesn't have to be changed overnight. And our imperfection is normal. It's to be expected. So we have to embrace ourselves with a gentleness, with a kindness, with a sense of understanding, with acceptance, with love, and say, it's okay that I'm doing this. It's okay. There's probably a really, really great reason why I'm doing this. And I know that this isn't working anymore. It's not working for me. It's not working for my kids. It's not working for my business partner. It's not working for my spouse. It's not working for my family or my friends. It's not working. And I'm going to be courageous and I'm going to admit it. And I'm not going to hide and escape. And I'm going to, instead of telling myself a story that I need to rebuild everything overnight, I'm going to get really clear on the vision of where I see myself on the other side of updating this. What is that vision that I have for myself? Okay, let me get really clear on who I would be if I no longer participated in this method of whatever. Maybe it's just simply looking at escapism that you want to update, but maybe coming back into and being honest, you say, it's not so much escapism that I have a problem with, but it is, something else. Today we're just talking about escapism. So to what degree, the questions are, to what degree do you escape in a way that promotes or aligns with or focuses on your own disempowerment or the disempowerment of others, your own denying or disconnecting from the world, the truth that is, or that is harmful to yourself or other people or the world? Where is that happening? Where is that happening? And embrace it. Embrace it. Embrace it with the sense of knowing that going into 2021, oh my God, I've been saying the years wrong this whole time. Going into 2021, we can't have it. We can't have it, And I deserve better. My kids deserve better. My spouse deserves better. My business partner deserves better, right? How do I show up now that's not for everybody, that's not good for everybody? And what's one small action I can take in order to steer my life, my ship, in a different direction, right? So self-inventory on your practices of escapism. Also, look at the good. Where do I practice escapism in a way that breeds connection, that is fostered in well-being, right? Maybe I bake twice a week with my kids and we do a new recipe and I let it be messy or whatever, and we're escaping from what is, but we're doing it in a way that, builds intimacy, builds connection. That's good. So focus on what is good, what feels good and what you like, and be honest about the ways that it's not working. Don't stay focused on what's not working. Double down on what's working. Double down on what's already showing you to be a success. And when the temptation, when the habit, when, the instinct arises to go back to that way of escapism that you don't want to play around with anymore comes up, remind yourself of your strength. Remind yourself of why you're doing it. Remind yourself that, it's going to suck for a while. And in that suckiness, I'm building up my own grit. And I am cultivating strength. And I am choosing me. And I am healing patterns of whatever else could be there. Codependency or enmeshment or people pleasing or whatever the fuck it may be, right? We all got it. But in me choosing to not go back to what I know is not great for me, here's what I am building. And maybe it doesn't feel that strong right now. And maybe it doesn't feel that great. And maybe the desire to go back to what's comfortable and familiar it does really feel better. Maybe that's true. And it will be for a while. You can get through it. You can get beyond. And before you know it, the disempowering ways will have adjusted, and they'll be healthier and they'll feel better. They may still be present, but you'll have better management over them. You'll feel more empowered. You won't feel like they have an energy of their own and that you lose control of. So this is one in the series, perhaps, if I continue with this idea tomorrow, of what to leave behind in 2020, because that's the year, not 2019. And so that we can have a 2021 that is not exactly, but more like what we know it can be, right? That heals all of the wounds and the ways of beings, the habits, the practices that 2020 showed us aren't working for everybody. So cheers to you, courageous, brave soul, for being honest, for taking action, for admitting the truth, for letting yourself be imperfect, for loving yourself through the process, and for being a demonstration of what we all can be in this lifetime to one another. High five to you, and I'll see you soon.